Ella Baker, she was born. Ella Josephine Baker. Ella Josephine Baker. She was born on the 13th of December, 1903. 6 years before Kwame Nkrumah was born. And she was born in Norfolk, Virginia. Now, those of you who know Norfolk, my brother, my sister, it is an independent city in Virginia in the United States of America. As of the 2020 United States Census, Norfolk had a population of 238,000 people, making it the third most populous city in Virginia after neighboring Virginia Beach and Chesapeake. My brother, my sister, it is a very quiet, cool city. That was where she was born. Her mother was called Georgina. Sometimes she was called Anna. Her father was Blakk Baker. Mother Georgiana, aka Anna. Father Blakk Baker. In fact, they had two more children. She was the second. The first was a male, second was her, and then the third was male. So she was sandwiched, my brother, my sister, by two males in the family. What we call bracket. She was bracketed by her older brother Blake Curtis and younger sister Maggie. I beg your pardon. The little one was a girl as well. I beg your pardon. Her father worked on a steamship line, and her mother stayed at home and took care of the children as a housewife. Unfortunately, in 1910, when our heroine was only 7 years old, there was a race riot. You know what it means? Black people attacking white people or white people attacking black people. That is a race riot. In this case, it was white people attacking black people. My brother, my sister, white people attacked black workers from the shipyard. Her mother, Georgiana, aka Anna, got frightened and decided to run with the children for fear for her life and the children's lives. But their father, Blakk Baker, decided to stay on and work on the ship because he didn't know where else to find a job. So he stayed. Georgiana took her 3 children all the way to Littleton in North Carolina, and there she raised them. Father was always bringing home money. He would visit and all that. Children were growing up well. But our heroine for today, Ella Baker, was raised by her grandmother. She was called Josephine Elizabeth Beth Rhodes. She was Elizabeth, but they simply called her Beth. Josephine Elizabeth Ross. And she was a former slave all the way from Africa who was beaten severely for refusing to marry another enslaved man. She was raped several times by the so-called white slave master. And she told all these stories to her grandchild, our heroine for today, Ella Baker. So at a young age, she knew so much about slavery and about Africa. And she knew about the civil rights. Oh my God. My brother, my sister, she started to grow in early activism. My brother, my sister. By 1930, when our heroine was 27, she was already deep-necked in activisms. Oh my God. She joined the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. In 1938, she was only 35 years young. And there, she started to work as the secretary She traveled widely for the organization, around America and beyond. She became the highest ranking woman, an outspoken woman. Baker believed in egalitarian ideals. She pushed the NAACP to decentralize the leadership structure and to aid its membership in more activist campaigns at the local level. She criticized her own leaders and put them on their toes. She encouraged young people and women to join the organization. And between 1944 and 1946, she directed leadership conferences in several major cities such as Chicago and Atlanta. They say Atlanta. My brother, my sister, she organized workshops to whip up the interest of the civil rights movement in young people. My brother, my sister. She was also part of the SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, whipping up the interest in activism for black people whose rights were so trampled to the ground. She was an orator. She could speak to move millions. She spoke with power and energy. Anytime there needed to be a very crucial information to be delivered, she was chosen because she had the power to do that. She encouraged the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, encouraging leadership to encourage more nonviolent demonstrations and beyond. She was a teacher and mentor to the young people of the SNCC, I beg your pardon, influencing such important future leaders as Julian Bond, Diane Nash, Stokely Carmichael, Curtis Mohammed, Bob Moses, and Bennis Johnson Reagan. My brother, my sister, she was such a powerful figure. In 1967, Baker returned to New York City, where she continued her activism. She later collaborated with Arikana Chihombori-Quao, and others to form the Mass Party Organizing Committee, a socialist organization. And in 1972, she traveled the country in support of Free Angela campaign, the Free Angela campaign, demanding the release of activist and writer Angela Davis, who we've spoken about before in the African history class. She had been in prison on charges of kidnapping and murder in the Marin County Civic Center attacks. Davis was eventually acquitted. My brother, my sister, she wrote a lot. She spoke a lot. She joined a lot of demonstrations. She's been portrayed in so many movies, and she's been honored around America and beyond. For instance, in 1984, Baker received a Candace Award from the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. Her papers were held by the New York Public Library. She wrote. In 1994, Baker was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. This great black woman. In 2021, the former Woodrow Wilson Montessori School in Houston was renamed the Baker Montessori School. And finally, in 2022, Minneapolis Public Schools changed the name of Brick 8 Jefferson Community School to Ella Baker Global Studies and Humanities Magnet School. Today we remember this great black woman. She died on the 13th of December on her birthday in 1986 at the age of 83 in New York City, New York. Today we remember you, Mommy. Mommy, why you be what? You stood for your race. You stood for justice. You stood for anything black. Today we remember you, Mommy. Mommy, why you be? Mommy, why you be? Mommy, why you be? Mommy, why you be? Mommy, wouldn't you mean ko what? Mommy, wouldn't you mean ko? Yay, man. In the burden of knowledge, I ask you, now that you know the story of Ella Baker, what would you do? Be an any ole mini obafe yazunda kagane mezaka yini. Ye ampa bango bokaya nang fifia ye nyanu kaina woba na ye webe den. Lele anjima singa be konne lele anjima singa beri. It's been the African history class, and today we've been talking about Ella Josephine Baker, one of the wonderful civil rights activists that we have had, propagating black power and energy.
The emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here.